Welcome class. Today we are going to start off learning about our new lesson, genetics. And so we'll go over our objectives for the day. Remember, our objectives are the things we want to accomplish today and be able to learn and know throughout the rest of the week. So the first thing we're going to do is learn our new vocabulary. The second thing we're going to do is learn about a Punnett square. We're going to draw and learn how to use one. The last thing that we'll do today is make a baby. Ooh. Yeah. You can laugh there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I need everyone to do is take out your vocab books that we made last week. Your vocab books have all of the vocab we're going to need for this unit in it. So everyone go ahead and take those out. All right, when everyone has it out, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to do our vocab first, and then after we do our vocab, we're going to go into the lesson. So everyone get your pencils ready, and we're going to define the vocab.
Okay, so as we go through these vocab words, we're also going to start making a Punnett square. But first thing what we're going to do, I want everybody to stand up. Okay, we're going to be looking for 3 things in this classroom, and when you find all 3 things, come up to me and tell me what 3 people you found. The first thing you're looking for is someone who can roll their tongue, like this. The second thing you're looking for is someone with brown eyes. The third thing you're looking for is someone with attached earlobes. So you've got attached earlobes and detached. So if here's a person and their earlobe goes like this and it's stuck to their head, that's called attached. If here's a person's head and it goes like this and there's a little space right here, that's detached. Alright, so everybody find me those 3 people, and then the first person to come up here wins. Alright, they already won, so that was really quick. So Larson and Corey paired up between the 2 of them. So everybody sit down. We're going to talk about those traits really quick. So the first thing, Corey can roll his tongue. How many people in the class can roll their tongues? Counting myself, we have 12. So we have 12, and then how many people can't?
How many people what?
Can't roll their tongue. Okay. How many people in the class have brown eyes? 6. And how many people do not? Okay, how many people have attached earlobes? And then how many have detached? Okay. Alright. So, out of these traits, if something is dominant, what do you think that means? Would more people have that trait, or would less people probably have that trait? More. So, for tongue rolling, if you can roll your tongue, is that dominant? Yeah, because we had 12 people versus 4 people in the class that can roll their tongues. So we have the word, you can write this down in your book. Can you see me over here, Dr. Blake? Are you over here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the first word first vocab word we have for today is dominant. And that means it's the trait that will cover up the recessive traits. So if you have the recessive trait and the dominant trait, the dominant will cover up the recessive. And this will make a little more sense in just a second. So we have dominant and we have recessive. So out of what we just did, we have tongue rolling, that's dominant. Now eyes, this is interesting. More people have a different color, have lighter eyes versus brown eyes, although brown is dominant. But if you look globally, most people have brown eyes. So brown is actually dominant, even though in this class we have a lot of people with light colored eyes, but they're not all the same color. And then ears, we have attached with 6 and detached with 10. So which one's recessive?
Attached.
Attached. And so detached would be dominant. Very good. Okay. So now we're going to talk about genotype and phenotype. Has anybody ever heard these words before? We've heard them. Do we know what they mean? Thumbs up if you know what they mean. So we have some ideas. Okay. Can you give me a definition of genotype and phenotype?
Genotype is the traits that are in your genetics. So they're the clothes you pack on to go on vacation. Your phenotype is the ones that you actually have. So it's the clothes you're wearing that day on vacation.
Yes. So for tongue rolling, we'll say that R is going to be the letter. We have big R, big R. That's the genotype. So it's the letters that go with the trait. And then the phenotype would be what you actually see. So here, it would be rolling your tongue. So if you have little r, that means it's the recessive trait. So if it's recessive, would they roll their tongue or not roll their tongue? Right. So not rolling. And then the other one that you can have is you can have what's called heterozygous, where you have 2 different letters. These are homozygous because they're the same. Homo means same, hetero means different. So these are heterozygous, so you have the big R and the little r. But if you've got the big R and it's dominant, what's it going to do to the little r? Cover it up. Yep. So is this rolling or not rolling? Rolling. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to use this trait to do a Punnett square. And you're going to be doing Punnett squares in just a few minutes when you make a baby. So make sure you pay attention. Are we good? Everybody's good? Okay. So let's say your mom can roll her tongue, and so can both of her parents. But your dad can't roll his tongue. So your mom is going to be homozygous dominant, and your dad is homozygous recessive. Let me ask you a tricky question. Can you ever have heterozygous recessive?
No.
No, because if you're heterozygous, you have a big letter with a little letter, and the big letter covers up the little one. So, what you're going to do is you're going to make a square. This is your Punnett square, remember? And then you're going to put 4 little squares in the big one. You're going to take your first parent, so this is going to be parent 1, and this is parent 2. And you're going to split the letters. So you're going to put a big R and a big R. So that's mom. You're going to put a little r and a little r. So that's dad. Now in your first square, you're going to combine the 2 letters because when mommies and daddies get together, both of their genetic material combines in the baby. Right? We all got that part? Okay, so you're going to have big R, little r. Big R, little r. So you've got this big R that goes here, this little r, this little r. So now you're going to take these 2. Big R, little r, big R, little r. So what percent of the kids of these 2 people can roll their tongues?
100%.
Exactly, 100%. Very good. So let's try another cross. All right, who wants to come up and do this one? Kip. So what are the phenotypes of the two parents before you start?
Dominant. Heterozygous.
Phenotype, that's what you see.
Rolling.
Yes, very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Alright, how does everyone feel about that? Does it look good? It looks good. Okay, so with this cross here, we have what's called a ratio. Does everybody know what a ratio is?
What's a ratio?
You don't know what a ratio is. Okay, so we have how many squares here? 4. So we have 4 total parts. So out of this square, we have 1 square with 2 big R's. We have 1 square with 2 little r's, and then we've got 2 squares with big R, little r. So your ratio are the 4 parts, that's your total, but your ratio is what part of this is a big R, little r, and then your heterozygous. So we would have 1 part, that's 2 big R's, 2 parts, that's the heterozygous, big R, little r, and 1 part that's little r, little r. So your ratio will bring all of these together and make up to be 4. So your ratio would be 1 to 2 to 1. Now, is this your genotype ratio or your phenotype ratio? Genotype, right. So what would your phenotype ratio be?
3 to 1.
3 to 1. Why?
3 rolling, 1 non-rolling.
Right, because even though this looks different than this one, when you see the trait, it looks the same. So now we're going to get started making a baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Evan's going to tell you how to make a baby.
We're gonna make
Here's your parental.
Okay, guys, I know it's weird. We're in 7th grade and we have class at 7:15 or 6:15, so we're gonna get moving a little bit. I need everybody to choose who they want to make a baby with. So everyone find a partner. All right, so you guys get to choose your partner. Ideally, it's whoever you sit next to. So if you guys are comfortable with that, that's okay. So does everybody have a partner? I'll give you guys 30 seconds. 30 seconds. You guys are partners.
And then have everybody do it.
I don't know.
Everybody make a play.
Okay, yeah. So yeah. You guys are partners. Are you 2 partners?
Yes.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys are partners. You guys have always had one. How are we on time?
We've got about 10 minutes, so is that good?
Now what we're going to do is I'm going to guide you guys through how we will look through all the different dominant and recessive traits for when we create the actual child. So everyone in your groups, we need 1 piece of paper, okay? Everyone get 1 piece of paper to share. We're going to share it between your partners. And we're going to fold it either hamburger or hot dog style. We always mix that up. So we're going to fold it the way it looks right here. We go across once and across over again. And you're going to have 3 columns like this. And then you'll be good. And once you have that, we're going to write out all the different traits that you can have when we're making the baby. Does everyone have that? Give me a thumbs up if you have that, yes? Okay. And so the first trait is going to be simply what gender it is. And you guys are going to do that by flipping a coin. And if it's heads, it's girls. And if it, or no, I need to go, there we go. If it's heads, it's girls. And if it's tails, it's boys. And then, I guess I'm using 1, 2.
You're two kids.
And so, yeah, we're only making one baby, by the way.
You're so funny.
And then, I'm going to write shorthand. You know what I mean? We learned that last class. It means when you shorten the word. And this one will be dominant, and this will be recessive. The first trait we'll have is hair color. And the dominant hair color is going to be brown, and the recessive will be blonde. For hair type, we will have curly as dominant or straight as recessive. Are you guys keeping up? Are we good? Okay. And then for eye shape, we're going to have round for dominant and almond shape. Do you guys remember when we ate almonds last week when we visited the almond farm? That's what it looks like. And then for eye color, we're going to have brown as dominant and blue as recessive. Nose shape, we're going to have round as dominant and triangular as recessive. And then, I should have said, we're going to do mouth shape as smile for dominant and straight for recessive. And then we're going to stop there, and then we're going to work on the actual drawing of the Punnett squares for each of these. Let me know when you have all of these down.
That's a lot of squares.
What's the eye that's not round?
The eye that's not round.
Almond. Okay.
Almond, yeah.
The farm, almond.
Remember that we went
Because you're only one of the.
Okay.
And then
Next. Eye shape. Eye shape. And then color. Eye color.
and where did you go?
Well, just cut it short if you have to.
That's right.
I mean, you got 5 more minutes still.
Nose and then flip your corners.
Are we guys there?
Almost.
Okay.
Oh no.
Almost. Now, what we're going to do with those is I'm going to let you guys decide, as with the mom and the dad, the genotypes, you're going to decide if you want to use this one, or this one for when you're making your Punnett square. You guys get to decide. And I will draw mine out for you using this top one, and you can draw with me at the bottom of your paper. So I'm going to use the capital R, the homogeneous, and then the hetero. And then what I'm going to do with you guys is we're going to pass out these cards and use these 4 cards use these 4 cards for labeling in your Punnett square, and I'll show you once we get up there. And what you do is those four cards that you have, using those 4 numbers, and sometimes there are letters, you'll write it up in the corner. If you have ace, 2, 3, 4 other numbers, you're going to write those 4 in the 4 different corners for Punnett squares, and that's how we're going to decide which one is actually drawn when you make your baby. So does that make sense? Does everyone understand that? Okay. Has everyone chosen their genotypes for their parents?
Do we choose that for each one?
It's going to be the same for the Punnett square.
What do we do with the list?
Do with the list? Well, this is just, you're going to go through this using the Punnett square that you make.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So this will apply to every single trait. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. Let me know if you need any help with this as you make it. Yeah.
I'm making it
I got you now.
two, so there's chances for themselves.
Are there any more questions? No? Okay. So I will do the first one with you for myself. So since the capital R is brown for hair and the lowercase r is blonde, and this is mine, you have R, capital R, capital R, lowercase, capital R, lowercase. Well, this is kind of nice for me because no matter what I do, I'm going to be brown. So I'm going to choose one of my 4 cards with my partner. Say I get a 2. That's my hair color. For what I'm making today. For the first problem. So yeah. So that's what you're going to do for the first one. And then you go through. And then so you'll do that through all of these.
He's a blind.
Okay.
No, oh yeah, a good time, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't do it. We're gonna stop here. Do you want to bring it back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has straight hair.
So, the next one is
Yeah, just tell me you did a great job.
Alright. So everybody hold up your babies. Wow, those look so great. So, okay. So everyone has your babies made, right? Thumbs up? Yeah. Okay, so today we learned a lot of new vocab, and we learned a lot about Punnett squares, right? So, what I want everyone to do now is take out a piece of paper, okay? This is going to be your exit slip. Your exit slip is the piece of paper I get before you leave to make sure that you were here and to check to check participation. And I want to know what you guys feel like was the muddiest point. And what I mean by muddy is what's unclear to you still. So, if you're having problems understanding what genotype is or what an allele is, I want you to write that down, okay? Write down any things that you don't understand so that next class we can go over that and make sure everyone is on the same page and understands, okay? So as you guys are writing that down, I'm going to write up your homework assignment. Can you see me from right here? Yeah. Is everybody done with your Muddiest Point exit slip? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Okay, good. Now, for your homework assignment, we're going to do the very same thing that we came in doing. Remember when we did that activity where you walked around and you found 3 people that could roll their tongue, had brown eyes, and had brown or what color hair they had. So I want you to go home and I want you to ask your parents, your siblings, your dog, your best friend, I don't care who you ask, but you come in tomorrow with 3 people and I want to know if they can roll their tongue, what color eyes and what color hair they have. And I want you to make a Punnett square out of these things, okay? So that's your homework assignment for tomorrow. Does everyone understand? Are there any questions? Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow.